Hey guys, welcome back to the Hez Project. I'm John Ordalaza, and we're here to talk about The Office, the complete series. But we're going to do something a little different today. Not only am I going to review the entire show, I'm going to be doing an unboxing of the brand new Blu-ray set. Let's get into it. The Office. Am I right? The Office. It is the most famous, one of the most popular shows of all time. Right up there with Friends, Seinfeld, even though I've never seen Seinfeld. I'm very young, if you guys can't tell. But it's up there. Let's just say that. It's one of the most popular shows to have ever grazed our TVs. And when you look at it, the premise of The Office, a bunch of workers at a paper company just doing shenanigans and whatnot, that's, like, how far do you think that's actually going to go? How far could you write a premise like that? These guys managed to do it for 9 whole seasons. That's impressive. Writing very dynamic characters. Michael Scott, played by Steve Carell, is probably my favorite, if not in the top 5 best TV characters of all time. The way that this man is written and has comedy weaving through every aspect of his personality was just a stroke of genius. In the beginning, I know some people don't really like the first season of The Office because it's kind of cringy. Michael Scott isn't super funny in that. I personally don't mind it. I understand that there is a shift between season 1 and season 2. There definitely is one. You cannot ignore that. But in the first season, I don't necessarily think Michael is a bad person. He's not unfunny in that first season, but he definitely molds into the better version of Michael Scott in season 2, and then obviously just perfects that in every other season. You can also say the same thing about each and every other character, honestly. Jim, Dwight specifically, Dwight Schrute, played by Rainn Wilson, is probably my second favorite, if not also in the top 5 favorite TV characters of all time. If he was ever booted out of the top 5, he'd probably be number 6. Mr. Dwight K. Schrute, assistant to the regional manager. This guy was just such a welcoming presence on screen. Every time you saw him, the uncomfortableness that you felt was coming was just incredible, because this man was like Michael Scott, but in like a nerdy way. I don't know how to explain it. Like they are very similar, but Dwight is more of an extreme version of that, and it was just always a blast to see the two interact. I loved everything that Michael and Dwight did together. They were just electric. Like the Electric City. Dwight is just one of those characters that's implemented into a show so you don't relate to them. He's almost that supernatural element to The Office. And somehow it's grounded. Somehow it's very grounded. He always manages to bring it around and keep it maintained into realism. Rainn Wilson should have won many awards for this. He's honestly really fantastic as Dwight. Now, to quickly shoot on Jim and Pam, I thought that this was probably one of the better romance stories told ever. I haven't seen The Notebook, so don't judge me too hard. Romance films are just not my thing. But when I saw these two, just a little spark that they had in the first couple of episodes, I knew they had to be together. But this show didn't give it to us just yet. This show dragged it on, not in a bad way, I'm just trying to illustrate a point. They dragged on this storyline in such a good way, hitting every single point that a real-life relationship should hit and would hit. I personally think it was a nice, realistic journey to a couple getting together, and I really appreciated that. You saw Jim and Pam have little flirtatious meets at the reception desk. We only saw that thing manifest into something greater as the show progressed. I don't know, I just thought it was perfectly written. It was weaved into a show that I already loved. Granted, it is cheesy romance, but it's characters I fell in love with. Pam, the artist, I fell in love with her. Jim, the office hottie, as Michael would refer to him as, or refer to Pam as. I think he's referred to them both as hot before, so he's called Jim a 10. I know that for sure. The biggest strength I'd say this show has is its ability to adapt every season. Hell, even every episode by episode, it adapts and molds itself into a better version than its predecessor. And I just really appreciated all the topics that they brought up, all of the social commentary that you may have picked up in its comedy, in its dark comedy sometimes, with all of the fat shaming and all of the sexual harassment in the workplace. All that is present here, but they do it in such a brilliant way. It does not come off as commentary. Anyone can say that it is, but it doesn't. Well, I just said it is for the first time ever, but I never saw it that way. But it can be. It can be seen that way. The Office is just a brilliantly written show. This type of camera style to shoot films or TV shows really catches you by storm at first when you watch it. You may like it, you may love it, you may absolutely hate it. It's not for everyone, but for me, especially, I enjoyed this kind of realistic take about this documentary being filmed at the same time for 9 years as this show goes on. I've seen other shows adopt this style. Parks and Recreation, created by the same creator as The Office, Michael Schur. I've never sat down and actually watched Modern Family, but I've put it on because it comes on right before Monday Night Raw, so I'm just there a couple minutes early and then I see how it's filmed. It's filmed exactly like The Office. However, there's no documentary going on. It's just that's how it's filmed. People look at the camera and people then cut away and talk to the camera, but there's no documentary going on. And as far as I remember, there's no documentary going on as well at Parks and Recreation. So they're kind of just copying the style because it was popular. And granted, it is a great concept. A great concept. You're being filmed for an ultimate goal towards the end. But, you get some cool perks with it as well. The single interview with one person as they cut away to the single office is probably The Office's trademark. It's one of the best parts of The Office, to cut away and to see someone's inner thoughts come out, like actually have them speak it when nobody's around besides the camera guy. But the camera guy isn't going to snitch on anyone. He's the camera guy. Right? But the camera guy becomes a character later on. Yeah, so that's another thing I want to talk about. You can say that the writing afterwards was bad. You can say that. I personally don't think it's bad. I don't. I'll leave you with these points. I've gone through The Office since watching it the first time through. I've gone through it again about twice. I've confidently gone through it twice. Maybe, a third time as we speak, I'm going through it. Neither of the times have I really given seasons 8 and 9 another chance. I stop right when Michael leaves and then just restart. Now, that is not saying that I think the seasons 8 and 9 are bad. I don't hate them either. I just personally don't think they're as rewatchable as the first 7 seasons. They're just gold. And if you look at what happens in the show between seasons 8 and 9, you can kind of make an assumption of what's happening behind the camera, on the paper, as the writers are putting this stuff together. Everything feels like chaos. It feels like absolute chaos. And they took a character like Andy, played by Ed Helms, brilliantly, by the way. They take his character and almost mold it into something completely different. For the bad, I think. They shifted him in such a manner that was very unsettling to me at first. I still enjoy it. Ed Helms is a great actor. He makes me laugh. His demeanor, the way he smiles with his entire face just makes me smile. So they didn't necessarily do it in a way that felt comfortable. It felt uneasy to see these people being forced in your face at a point. All these characters that you knew and loved for 7 years just suddenly felt like that they were trying a little too hard and compensating for a loss in The Office. And Michael Scott, Steve Carell left a huge hole in this show, and it needed to be filled desperately. And they threw so many things at this hole. They threw Will Ferrell. They threw freaking James Spader, Ultron, to play Robert California. Respectfully, though, he is probably the best thing to come out of seasons 8 and 9. Robert California is amazing. He is amazing. But you have other characters that come in and out. They just don't add anything. There's like 4 to 8 different characters that are introduced in these last 2 seasons. Not one of them, not any of them, or all of them combined make up the hole that Michael Scott left. So there you have it, guys. There's my review for The Office. What'd you think about it? Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, comment down below with your favorite episode, your favorite character, your favorite storyline. If it's the same as mine or Jim and Pam, like a boring person, let me know down below. And be sure to hit that subscribe button like I just said, because you're going to want to stick around for the unboxing I got. Ha! You thought it was over? That's right. So, I was just doing a recording, and I did the whole unboxing. Like, I pulled it out and everything, and then I looked down at my phone, because I record audio on my phone. I didn't press record on my phone, so we're going to pretend none of that happened. I already opened it. I barely looked at it, okay? So, it's still as legitimate. It's still very legitimate, guys. So, we got a bunch of mega bubble wrap right here. It's good for audio content. And then, yeah, it's just the thing. We have the Office, the complete series. You got Michael, Andy, Dwight, Jim, Pam, and Daryl on the cover. Yeah, these are the cornerstone members, I would say. You know, I would honestly throw in Ryan and Kelly, because they did a lot for the show. They wrote and were a part of the behind the scenes, all of the storylines and whatnot. They were writing for like the majority of the show, I think up until seasons 8 and 9. So you can't necessarily blame them for those last 2 seasons. They showed up and they did their part. But nonetheless, they deserve a little shout out because they are part in one of the greatest shows of all time. But yep, it's got all the seasons for the first time ever on Blu-ray. Thank God I didn't invest in buying the DVDs. I was almost that desperate in doing that, but luckily I didn't. But you got, yep, seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it looks nice. You got Michael on the cover, or on the sides of each season up until 8 and 9, of course. You got Andy there out for season 8, and then Dwight for 9. Oh, then there's everyone else on the back. Yeah, and then everyone else on the side. That's it. Well, let's open this up real quick. Got some time left. There we go. Get that out the way. Come on. There's first season right there. The slicked hair, Michael Scott. It's a really interesting look. I wasn't really a fan of that look because he looked kind of evil, but you know, it is what it is. Season 2, of course. I always loved those shots through the blinds of the windows. It made it seem like it was a documentary. It made it seem like they were catching scoops with these office workers. You know. Season 3, of course, when they introduced what's her name? Karen Filippelli. That, yeah. And you got season 4. I like these covers, by the way. They look pretty nice. Yeah. Season 5, the best season ever. Don't at me. Season 6, probably the second best season ever. Don't at me. I'm joking. I don't really know what the second best would be. All I know is that the fifth one's the best. I can't talk today. Season 7, the ending of a lifetime. The end of an era, I should say. And then, look at that, dude. If what I said earlier isn't true, that seasons 8 and 9 behind the camera and in front of the camera. Didn't feel like panic. Dude, look how many people are in the front of this cover. That just feels like and smells like panic. And then the same with this one, of course, yeah. Again, I don't hate these. I really don't. I just, you know what I prefer, obviously. It was simple back then. But yeah, I enjoyed this. Too bad I'm going to have to buy another set when they come out with the 4K. I mean, if they come out with the 4K. I don't think that's going to actually happen or not. Let's put that right there for a second. So anyways, guys, that was the unboxing. Let me know if you enjoyed that. If you want to see more forms of content similar to that, separate videos, of course, with unboxings. I'll be doing some combo videos with reviews and unboxings coming later. I got a Lord of the Rings 4K trilogy that's coming out. I'm going to be doing a review for that and an unboxing. So be sure to stick around the channel because there's always more to come.